start.
Okay, so hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. My name is George and I'm the project leader for the team. Here you can see that we are from Dagenham College and we will be presenting an idea which we have named the Samaritan Service Box. We will be working with AWS, Samaritans and other physical charities. Now of course I'd like the rest of the team to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Jason. I was the lead graphics designer for this project. I also helped with the presentation structure.
Hi, I'm Jess. I was in charge of drawings when it came to the design. I also helped Jason out with the graphic design.
Hi, my name is Mashraini. I had to make sure that to create all the minutes for the client.
My name's Luke. I wasn't initially involved with the project at first, but George enlisted me into the project and I helped with a lot of the inspiration for the idea, and yeah.
Yep, so in this presentation we're going to be covering an insight into what mental health is about, and then we're going to show your idea and we're going to try and create a positive outlook to try and save lives. So the big question is, mental health, what is it? From our understanding of it, mental health is something that takes place in all of us, and it is an overview of our emotions, our psychological state, and our social well-being. Now, some of us can be in a good state of mind, whereas others may tend to struggle with it and find it as a very bad thing within their life. There are a lot of common mental health illnesses, and I would like to present a few of them here. We have depression, which is the most common mental health illness, and it creates the effect that creates a very negative impact on the person in how they feel and how they act. There is anxiety, which is the fact that they might feel very uneased and that they tend to fear and worry about a lot of different things. There is obsessive compulsive disorder, also known as OCD, and this is the person who will constantly need control over their life. And then there's post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, and this is an illness caused when a person goes through a very distressing event. We also wanted to list some other examples, such as substance abuse, borderline personality disorder, and schizophrenia. So what does this lead to? Well, unfortunately, it is a very sad outcome in which the person feels that they need the suffering to end, and so that they would like to take their own lives. To show you how bad this is, we're going to show you some statistics on the screen to show how bad this is. So in 2017, there were 6,213 suicides in the UK and the Republic of Ireland. That's about 17 people per day. From 2003 to 2013, there were over 18,000 people who took their own lives due to mental health. 1 in 15 of us have tried to make a suicide attempt within our life, and men are 3 times as likely to take their own life in the UK and 4 times more likely in the Republic of Ireland. So how can this be helped? Well, luckily there's a lot of things that we can do to help with mental health, and we feel like the most important thing is to do with support. It is great that we communicate with each other and we talk to each other to try and understand each other's problems. And we can also refer our friends and family to speak to someone from a therapist, or maybe even call from the Samaritans. So, who are the Samaritans? Well, they are a charity that has dedicated to try and save the lives of those who suffer from mental health. And we think this is a really nice thing. What the person will be able to do is call Samaritans, and they can speak about any situation for as long as they want to. And Samaritans would simply just listen and try to understand what's going through their head. We also know that being physical is also very important when it comes to mental health, so we wanted to throw that in. And overall, we think that there are a lot of things that can help mental health. So I'm now going to pass it on to Arvin, who's going to talk about our idea.
Thank you. So what was our task? Well, what we had to do was to create a new idea that could help save people's lives and their mental state. We wanted to make sure that we created a link between all the companies and charities that had helped influence our idea. We also wanted to make sure that we had a digital element, a physicality element, and we also wanted to cater it to the Samaritans. So we were given the idea of creating a suicide prevention box, so we took this as a good opportunity to be more creative. So moving on to our idea now. So we really like the idea of the suicide prevention box, but however we find out some problems with the suicide prevention box that it could take like too much attention from the public. So we had to make sure that we blend the box inside the public. So what we have done is we chose London as a hotspot for where we would place our box, and we threw around different ideas of what could fit in well, and we have also decided that we would create a digital version of the old school telephone box. This is going to be our own digital take on the classic box, which had become an icon of London. We also wanted to make sure that this box would stand out it doesn't stand out too much from the public. So now moving on to our next further insights.
So, now that we've talked upon what ideas? So now that we've talked upon what idea is about and what it's based on, let's move on to the design. I'll be showing you the process and the finalized look of the choices we came up with. As you can see, there are 3 sketches on the screen which show the outside of the box, the inside of the box, and the tablet interface layout. These are just rough drawings made on paper, so I'll be showing you these digital ones. So by using Photoshop, we first designed the exterior of the telephone box. This is what it looks like. When designing this, we wanted to make sure that it was different from the standard old-fashioned telephone boxes. And while our box includes digital features, we still wanted it to blend in with the rest of London. There will be a screen at the top where we can change the display to the Samaritans logo, an invitation to come in and chat, or maybe show quotes that might help those with mental problems. If not, maybe inspire those who just walk past the box. For the colour scheme, it will be red. There was a debate in our project meetings whether it should be green because of the Samaritans logo, but we wanted people to enter the box without attracting too much attention to themselves, so we just decided to stick with red. For the windows, they'll be tinted all around for obvious privacy reasons. However, this could make the person inside feel closed in and cramped, so there'll also be open windows at the top to have more light enter and essentially create more of an open space. Speaking of claustrophobia, the scale of the box will be slightly bigger because, so this is for the person to move around more, have more room, and because the standard London telephone boxes are way too small. So there was also a controversial idea we had was to install sensors in the door button to let others from the outside know that it was occupied, but some people might not like this idea because they could still feel like their privacy is being invaded. So now that we've looked at the inside box, outside the box, let's look at the inside. So when designing the interior, we wanted to make sure that the person felt as comfortable as they could be when they were inside the box. Firstly, there will be a tablet used for communicating with the Samaritans. This will be held onto an adjustable bar where they can position it wherever they please. LED lights will be installed at the ceiling, which can be adjustable via the tablet. There will be a small ledge chair that the person could use to sit on or lean on while talking. This material will be padded for comfort and the right size so the person can still stand if they would like. The walls will be soundproof so that no noise from the outside can be heard, and vice versa, just so it makes the person feel safe about what they're talking about when they're communicating. Finally, for the interior, there will be headphones available and are optional to use when talking with the Samaritans. However, they can choose to use the tablet speaker via the settings, which I will develop on later. Finally, another controversial idea we had was to add a CCTV camera at the top, just to be used to see if the person inside was okay, or even the footage could be used to show as evidence if someone were to try and steal the tablet. Yes, however, this could make the person's privacy feel breached, but a simple solution to this would just to have the camera to only record video and not audio. Ultimately, let's move on to the tablet interface. For the interface, we wanted to make sure that anyone with little knowledge of technology could still get around it and still be easy to use. Firstly, at the top, there are 3 different communication options. These are video call, voice call, and text message to communicate with the Samaritan. We wanted to make sure the person felt comfortable with how they spoke to the Samaritan, so that's why we did it. There are 2 option configuration settings, sound and light. These will be used to alternate between using the headphone to speaker via the sound settings, and the light settings will be used to change the color and brightness of the LED lights to their preference. On top of that, there will be a Learn More button, which will direct the person to a website about what the Samaritans do and what they are. So we feel that this interface is very simply and tidily laid out, which is effective when it comes to helping the person out. So these are our design choices for our Samaritan service box. We hope you found it interesting. We feel that it ties in a lot with the original suicide prevention box idea and expands on it greatly. However, this raises major claustrophobia concerns, which Luke will cover next.
Okay, yeah, so we did really like the idea of the suicide prevention box and the Samaritan service box as a whole. There's one issue that we came across. Now, we feel that it could be quite claustrophobic, which could then worsen someone's mental health condition if they go in and have a previous mental health condition, which could obviously make them feel a lot worse than they already do. Now, this was a big issue to us because we feel like this would have a negative impact or the opposite impact of what we were trying to achieve. So, how are we going to get around this? Well, for our solution for this, what we decided to do was create the type of Station London bus that you sometimes see around London. As the ones on the board, as you can see, the one on the left is modified to be a bar, and the other two on the right are modified to be social gathering spaces. Now, we chose to use the ones on the right as our inspiration, as we could have this as a social gathering space for Samaritans and London Sport and the other charities that people can go to and simply talk one-on-one with someone rather than talking over the telephone. You can either go talk there in a group with 3 or 4, maybe more people, so you can you're not alone in voicing your feelings, or simply go there, grab a leaflet and take it home with you, read it at home, or even pass on the information to a loved one or a family member. Now again, during this designing process, there's a lot of choices to be made, so I'm going to allow Jess to speak about that next.
Firstly, we wanted to show our drawing concept for the bus design. Here are sketches of the outside of the bus and the inside. We had a few goals in mind when it came to design and creation, hoping it would draw people's curiosity in. We wanted everyone to notice it as a peaceful social area for the Samaritans, where it wasn't too over the top, but also where it could stand out. We also wanted to ensure it was modernised for appearance. We then created digital designs for the bus. Here we can see the exterior of the Samaritan's bus, and I'll be covering some design points that we decided upon as a group. First main feature you'll notice is the different colour scheme. The colours are green and white mainly because it matches the Samaritan's logo as well as still standing out. Therefore, we thought that this scheme would be a nice touch. We also have digital screens across the side and the front. This could be used to display the Samaritan's logo and also small pieces of information or even quotes that people can walk past and quickly read, as well as sports quotes giving it a positive outlook. For the windows, we chose to make them transparent at the bottom and open windows at the top. This is to make it possible to be seen inside and allowing light to enter. Also, the bottom windows are not completely non-transparent, though enough to point of completely blocking out any light. We plan to put chairs and tables right outside for more social use. There would be people outside of the bus speaking to the public about who the Samaritans are and what they do, offering advice to any audience listening. To also encourage people to be more active, there will be a UK active and or a London sport team member talking about how sports is a great mood booster and why it's so important. This should be helpful to encourage people to be more active. Moving on to the interior of the bus, being a place where conversations can be made surrounding mental health. The bottom deck will consist of stools, tables, and low green chairs being used for group conversations. There will be LED lights making the bus feel more bright and alive with a bit of illumination. We also decided to install speakers around the bus, playing relaxing music at a sensible volume to smoothen the general vibe. The top deck will be a bit more sensible, simple. It would be a lot brighter in comparison to the bottom due to open windows, and instead of group conversations, it will be a place to have one-to-one conversations. These will be done in individual booths for privacy reasons. Overall, we think our bus idea is a great expansion for the suicide prevention box, making it blend in more with the rest of London. Both of our ideas are great when it comes to informing more people about the Samaritans and engaging those with mental health.
Yeah, so what does this mean overall? Well, we wanted to take inspiration from all the 4 charities here, and we wanted to create 2 new ideas. One was the Samaritans box, and the other was the service box. And what we wanted to try and do was try and to be able to help those with mental health, as well as help those learn about what mental health is about, and to try and support our friends and family. So this reaches our overall goal of being able to save lives, which we think is the most important thing of this aspect. project. So quickly, finally moving on to the marketing, we need to make sure that we get the word out about this. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we noticed that a lot of people walk around London with their mobile phones. So they can use this to walk around, take photos, or post their thoughts onto social medias, such as Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. With this, we think this will get the most widespread note about it, since obviously it is online and social. But there's also a couple more things that we wanted to mention as well. So the two other ideas we came up with, we wanted to have cards placed at the Samaritans box and also brochures that Luke mentioned at the bus, so that it's also a physical copy of being able to get the word out. And one other idea we came up with was to be able to sponsor the box. So in this way we can have a card reader at the box or the charity donation place at the bus, where people can donate to the charity so that they can continue on that work. So that's going to be it for the presentation. Finally, we're going on for the reflections, and we're going to allow each person to talk about what they learned throughout the presentation. Joseph, first time.
I would like to reflect that even though I struggle to read and spell and have terrible memory, because of dyslexia, I pushed through this presentation as hard as I could. I also struggled a lot to turn up to the meetings because of the medical condition and having lots of doctor's appointments, but I still tried my hardest to be there and help my group. This presentation is a great opportunity for all of us, and I'm so glad I had the chance to take part.
I'm Jason. So, from this project, I managed to delve into more about what the Samaritans do, and I have to say I respect what they're doing. I didn't know they existed before this project, but I'm glad that I do now, because the work that they do is quite remarkable. It looks like it saves a lot of lives, because there are people who need access to people, to someone to talk to. And Samaritans, I know they listen, they hear and listen. They don't give advice, they're just there for people, and I think I respect that a lot. Also, I was here last year, I did this project last year, and I have to say my time management skills and my communication skills have definitely improved. So thank you for letting me partake in this project.
I have learned a few things from this project, from my fellow team members actually. When we were actually sharing our ideas, they were really patient and really supportive to me, because whenever I say something, they don't really take this negatively, but they were taking it positively, right? Because whenever I say something, they won't just say that, this idea doesn't seem to be right, this idea, but they would say that this idea would be perfect if you just improve it. That was one of the best strengths this team had when I was working with them. Other thing which I have noticed is that when I was working in this team, I had to be, I wasn't actually able to attend one of the minutes, because I was really ill. So it actually helped me to improve my self-awareness that I am actually in a team setting and I should actually go to the team support, to the minutes. The next thing which I have learned from it is actually I really understood what is the importance of working in a team, because when we work on a team, when we share our ideas, actually we learn something new, and when we learn something new, what it doesn't mean you get some more knowledge from what you get actually from them. And another thing which I have learned is when you work in a team, it is actually break down your task into something easier. It makes you much more relaxable and enjoying. And I really enjoyed being each single moment with this team. I really like. Thank you.
During this entire process, I learned a lot about Samaritans along with Jason. I also learned a lot about the suicide rates, and I had no idea that the male suicide rate was a lot higher than the female suicide rate. I just feel like it's such a big issue that we need to sort out and fix and make better, and I feel like Samaritans are doing a really good job of trying to make this much better. And I feel like this has been a great experience for me to learn about what Samaritans do and how they help people.
So I think one of the biggest things I got out of this was actually resilience, because I think at the start we only started this about 3 or 4 weeks ago because we had communication problems, So we had to really try and like crack on with it and get stuff done. So me being project leader, I had to make sure that everyone was cracking on with everything. We had to set really tight schedules and get everything done as quick as we could. And we also had to rehearse for this as well. I think that's one of the biggest things. And then obviously, great thanks to the whole team because they did an amazing job. Jason and Jess made some amazing digital designs. Luke cracking on and Alvin with the research, and yeah, as much as all the events have gone on, and we had some on leave as well, we've just cracked on with it, and we've managed to bring us that in a few weeks. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Okay, just gather the group over there. So at the end of each one, we'll just have a photograph of the group. Whilst that's happening, you know, it blows you away when you listen. It makes me quite emotional when I listen.